So one of the major problems with the food market today is that dog food companies will sell you anything if it sounds good to you. They don't care whether it's good for your dog. They care whether if you hear it and think, oh, that's healthy, that you'll buy it. When the reality is some of those ingredients are not good for your dog. Canola oil, chickpeas, soy, flaxseed, and sweet potatoes are in almost every bag of dog food on the market. So you might be asking yourself, how are they bad? And they're bad because they contain something called phytoestrogen in really high amounts. And when phytoestrogen is consumed in really high amounts, it messes with your dog's hormones. Hormones control everything that happens in your dog's body. You know, from sleep, energy, mood, to growth, reproduction, and even muscle building, and one of the most important is their immune system is relying on it. A good way to think of it is like a message in the bottle. Your dog's hormones are like messages in bottles floating through the bloodstream. Essentially, when you have a bunch of this phytoestrogen, you're just pouring a bunch of false messages in bottles in there. And so as your body's trying to sort through these, it ends up having to grab a hold of these false messages and read them. And in the meantime, the true message that was supposed to come into contact with that cell wasn't able to be read because the cell was busy sorting through all this phytoestrogen. And so what it does is it lowers how well your dog's hormones are working in its body. All plants have this in it, but take white rice. It has about 1 microgram per 100 grams of white rice of phytoestrogen, okay? So not a lot. And it's really nothing to be worried about. And a little bit is just natural and normal. It's when you start getting into ingredients that have way more than they should. And you take sweet potato, and you know, even though it might not seem that bad, at about 1,000 micrograms, they did a study where they gave postmenopausal women a serving of sweet potatoes, which is very similar to what your dog would be getting, a serving at every meal of sweet potatoes, and it raised their blood estrogen level 27%. Okay, and that's very comparable to like your chickpeas, your canola oil, is enough to do something that clinical to your dog's hormones. Okay, and then you really want to start comparing that to like your soy that you probably heard of before, and it has about 100,000. Okay, and this is what really blew my mind, is that flaxseed has almost 400,000 micrograms in it. I mean, imagine the impact as we go back to the analogy of the message in the bottle. When you're pouring 400,000 of those false messages into that bloodstream, imagine the impact on your dog. I think a lot of people, when they think of hormones, they just think of reproductive hormones. And it's far from the case. We kind of touched on the immune system, which is a monumentally important one. But there's much more than that. A lot of people have heard of thyroid. That's a hormone. It controls weight, mood, body temperature, hair growth, skin. Then we have things like cortisol that keeps your dog alert, healthy, happy, and controls physical and emotional stress. Then we have growth hormone, and it plays a major role in a lot of processes. Not only does it help your dog mature and grow properly, it helps them build muscle, retain muscle, but one of the most important is when your dog gets injured, it plays a major role in the repair of that. So if the hormones are being blocked that are telling your dog to repair itself, it won't heal and repair as quickly as it should. And a lot of you may be saying, my dog seems fine, he seems healthy. But the reality is you don't know what you can't see. And the fact of the matter is the studies don't lie. And there's literally thousands backing up the fact that phytoestrogen has this effect on your dog. It's those studies that opened my eyes. And I realized that it's only compounded worse in our dogs' cases than even in those studies. It's in every single bite of food they have. Okay, if sweet potatoes in your dog kibble, he's not having it once a week, he's having it every bite of food. If flaxseed's in it, same story, it's in every bite of food. And I just knew I needed to remove it from my dog's diet, and I went out and I searched, and I couldn't find one. But I want to give you guys the tools to search for yourselves. Okay, I want you guys to be able to give your dogs the best life possible. And that is done through diet. Okay, diet controls your dog's well-being. And giving them something that's harming them in that diet is the worst case scenario. My goal is to help you give your dog its best life possible. We're going to keep making videos not only about this, but a variety of topics to help your dog. If you have any questions, comment below, and we'll see you next time.